invisible between you and I, and the question across, I see it clearly as I hold tight to that feeling of what is gained and lost. I know it's hard, 'cause I'm standing where you are. I can feel the pain, I know you will. We can't lay where we fell and expect to change. Love is a battle to be fought, and all we want to do is win. But I just can't be someone I'm not. I just don't know where I'm supposed to be. And all we gotta do is put ourselves in each other's shoes, try to understand no one is the same. There's no one you can blame just for being human. 'Cause love is a battle to be fought, and all we want to do is win. I just can't be someone I'm not. I just don't know where I'm supposed to be. All we gotta do is put ourselves in each other's shoes, try to understand. September falls, you know you're not where you expected to be by now. You got it all inside your heart, but you don't know where to go from home. I'm here, where is the next stop, and what does it look like when you lose sight of what it is you're fighting for, what it is you're working towards? Don't let them tell you what you do is not enough. No matter what you do, keep living for truth, keep living for love.
gosh, that was amazing. Thank you. The amazing Brooke Annibale, who has worked with us previously and is helping us to celebrate today the graduation of our fellows from our Women's Policy Institute. We have people from all around the world who are joining us today. We have somebody from Turkey who is in the Zoom room, and that's just amazing. Goes to show how we have connections all over the place, and I'm really excited by that. I know we also have a lot of really fabulous VIPs who are joining us today. I see Representative Donovan and Courtfriend in the room. We will be hearing today from the governor and the Secretary of State and the Lieutenant Governor. And we also just have tons of people who are so excited to be part of this celebration for our 15 fellows. I do want to start off by just recognizing the donors who made this program possible, our Women's Policy Institute. And they include the Rhode Island Foundation, Amica, Alliant Credit Union, Island Foundation, Otto York Foundation, and many, many individual donors who make our 9-month program teaching about grassroots advocacy, make it free for our participants to go through the program so that they can focus on what they need most out of this program. So I'll also recognize them again at the end of the program, just in case they're joining us late, but wanted to be sure that I got that out in the beginning. So this year, 2021, is our 20th anniversary, and a lot has happened in the past 20 years, but I would be remiss in not honoring our founder, who was a tenacious, outspoken champion for gender equity and social justice. If I could, what I would like to do is take a moment of silence for Simone Joyaux, who founded our organization and who we unfortunately lost earlier this month. If we could just take one moment. Thank you for that. I know Simone is looking down on us today with pride as we celebrate the launch of 15 new Women's Policy Institute advocates into the world who are surely going to continue to create positive change in our communities. So today's group of fellows is joining a group of over 80 now at this point who have helped to pass laws including workplace pregnancy protections, paid family leave, paid sick and safe leave, made sure that we have access to reproductive health and freedom by codifying Roe versus Wade in Rhode Island, making sure that there wasn't discrimination against folks who are renters about their source of income, and even helped to repeal gender-based taxes like the tampon tax. Some of our graduates have gone on to successfully run for office, and many have taken jobs in the advocacy sector. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, we did a Women's Policy Institute information session because we were recruiting for the next class. And one of our alumni told us during that session that somebody told her that she couldn't be hired for a position, but if she had gone through our program, that she would be hired. And she is now working in an advocacy role in the nonprofit arena because of the experience that she got in the Women's Policy Institute. And many others, they just continue to advocate for change as grassroots leaders in our community. And that's really what this is all about. So today we're going to hear from some of Rhode Island's top leaders, as well as from our board and some of our alumni. And they're all here, fellows, to celebrate your achievement. And then for the guests who are in the room, we'll also hear from the fellows about what their experience was like, particularly during this very crazy COVID year. So without further ado, because we do have a busy agenda this afternoon, I would like to turn this over to Governor McKee. Governor, are you with us?
Ellie, it's Cheyenne. I think he is just running a little over. Let me just call his assistant.
Okay, great. While we're waiting very quickly, if we could have people put in the chat, if you have not already, tell us where you are zooming in from, and also if you are here for a particular graduate or what else might bring you into this room. We would love to see that in the chat. And I suppose while we are waiting, is Lieutenant Governor Matos in the room?
Yes. Hi, Kelly.
Hi. Oh, yes. So for those of you who may not know, Sabina Matos is a friend of the Women's Fund. She has been a longtime supporter. And so, of course, we're very excited to see her in her new state leadership role. And I guess I'm breaking protocol here. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure when the governor will join us. So,
Oh, no, please go ahead with our Lieutenant Governor.
okay, great. Thank you. So Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to the graduating class. First of all, I want to say thank you to you and the board of the Women's Fund for everything that you are doing to build leadership within the females here in the state of Rhode Island. I am fortunate I benefit of the work of the Women's Fund. The Women's Fund was one of the early organizations that supported the Latino Civic Fund and the Latina Leadership Institute. And that program helped me so much to understand the challenges in our community and to understand how I could participate and contribute to my community. And it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't because of the work of the Women's Fund and the support, financial support of the Women's Fund. I know I joined it a little bit late, and not sure if you guys mentioned this, but I want to recognize Simone Joao, who was the founder of the Women's Fund and did a lot at the beginning also to get the organization going. We just lost her recently I was shocked when I got the news. I was always looking forward to finding her in any events. I remember she used to do some trainings for New Roots Providence, and she used to introduce herself saying, "I'm Simone Joao. I'm the famous or the infamous, you decide." So I really miss her special personality in everything that she did for the organization. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of the participants that are graduating. We made sure you should have received or will be receiving citation from the office. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about the issues affecting our state. And also, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Please make sure you communicate and send my office, send me your feedback and let us know what are policies that we should be championing. So I'm so looking forward to hearing your feedback and having your voice being part of the change that needs to continue to happen in our state. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Kelly. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. And again, we are so excited to have you in a leadership position in the state. One of our goals, of course, is to achieve equity at all levels throughout the state of Rhode Island. And having you in that leadership role is very important for us. Plus, you're cool. So, hooray. Cheyenne, has the governor joined us?
He is attempting to join.
I see. Okay. Should we give him a second, or shall I introduce our next speaker?
I would say go to your next speaker, please.
Okay. So I am pleased to introduce our Secretary of State, Nellie Gorbea. Nellie has also been a longtime a supporter of the Women's Fund, and also she used to serve on our board. And I think I might be able to guess that a little bit of what she'll talk about today is how the Women's Fund of Rhode Island inspired her to take on the role that she has, and perhaps is continuing to inspire her. So Secretary Gorbea, could you please join us?
Yes, hi. Hi, everyone. Congratulations. This is so exciting. Thank you to the Women's Fund and to Kelly Nevins for the opportunity to speak with you today. It's wonderful to be here along with, of course, Governor McKee and Lieutenant Governor Matos. I see Representative Susan Donovan as well in the crowd. And that's as far as I'm going to get because of the little squares and all that. So, but it's wonderful to be here, and particularly to have the opportunity to speak to the graduating Women's Policy Institute Fellows. Congratulations. It's always a thrill when I get to speak with Rhode Islanders who are working to change our state for the better. But the Women's Fund and the Women's Policy Institute do hold, as Kelly said, a very special place in my heart, because I was on the board of the Women's Fund when WPI was started. And, back when the Women's Fund was started, that kickoff event, I'll never forget it. It was shortly after the 2002 election. We were unveiling our first Status of Women report. And we were hoped at the time of the report to be joined by the candidate that we thought was going to be the next, governor and the first female governor. And that was Murth York. And of course, as you all know, we were instead joined by Governor Don Carcieri. And so I have to say, things at that initial gathering started off like a bit of a somber mood. But then we started getting the report on the status of women, and that somehow gave us focus. And by the end of that night, I dare say we were energized and we were ready to create action. And there was no quit in that group. And so I see the same spirit and the same strength in the women that are here today. And I am really hopeful for our future. I mean, it's been such a joy in the years since my time at the Women's Fund to see those of you who go from the Women's Policy Institute go into our greater world here in Rhode Island and do great things for our state. For example, and I'll give you a few, with the push to allow campaign funds to be used to pay childcare expenses incurred because of campaign activity. That was done with the support and the leadership in the Senate of Gail Golden, for example. She was at one point the policy director at the Women's Fund. And as somebody who's run as a mom of three, I know what an obstacle childcare can be when running for office. So we all worked at different, from different angles on this. She worked in the General Assembly. And I worked out of the regulatory part. I went to the Board of Elections and specifically asked them to do a reg that would allow for that. And eventually the reg got passed and the childcare bill, got passed. And so, these things are really, really important that we all work together from different angles. Then a few years ago, former Representative Shelby Maldonado helped pass legislation supporting nursing in the workplace. And WPI fellows were successful in pushing for this important policy that brought that about, and things like paid family leave and the Reproductive Privacy Act. So you're joining a group of alumni that has a proud history of moving our state forward in a very positive direction. And we do it by working together. And let's be honest, we really need that kind of spirit now more than ever. I mean, our country, our state, our cities and towns are deeply divided racially and politically. And, we're experiencing some of the greatest income inequality that we've had since the Great Depression. And then there's, of course, the pandemic that we're hopefully seeing the end of finally. So it's times like these that the Women's Fund and the Women's Policy Institute are truly important, because they help remind us that we're not alone in our concerns and our hopes. So these relationships that you've built through the Institute are key and absolutely necessary to help you and to support you when you're going on challenging roads. You know, forming those connections with people, especially those that, you know, can think differently than you, was a big part of the path that led me to where I am today. And having that support system to get you through that is key. You know, eventually, thanks to actually the fundraising training that I received while I was on the board of the Women's Fund, by none other than the amazingly late, the amazing and now sadly late Simone Joyeux, I was able to jump in and run for office. I actually didn't know how to ask for money before I joined the Women's Fund board. And Simone walked us through it. And it's part of my path. It's part of my path to being an elected leader today. So, you know, I hope that you will see this as a call from me, and that you will have a call from each other to take that step forward. Go run for office, be a part of that change that we so desperately need in the way we run our public policy, because these are times that try us and that really call for a public policy where there's a diversity of perspectives, opinions, and backgrounds around the policymaking table. There are solutions that you have that we have not yet tried, but we need you to come forward, whether that be in an appointed position, but also run, take that leap, run for office. And I'm happy to be here to help you in whatever way I can. With that being said, I'm very proud of you. Congratulations, graduates. And I look forward to seeing you eventually here at the State House and in city and town halls throughout our state, and in person and advocating for the change that we know we need and we can absolutely make happen. Thanks.
Thank you, Secretary Gorbea. And the Women's Fund has been so pleased to be able to partner with you on things like voter access over the past year. And you and I have had some really great conversations about women in leadership that I hope we'll be able to continue. Thank you so much. So last but certainly not least of our VIPs this evening is our Governor, Dan McKee. And what I would like to say about Governor McKee is that even though he may be new in his role as governor, he has been very open to conversation with the Women's Fund of Rhode Island about how we can make Rhode Island a more equitable state. And so he has allowed us as a guest on when he was lieutenant governor on his weekly show, his weekly, it's not a podcast, show on YouTube. So thank you so much for that. And I'm also serving on his Equity and Justice Advisory Council. And just again, I think this particular governor is really, he's open to hearing from the community. And part of the reason that we want our electeds here in the room is so that both our fellows can see who's open to those discussions, and also so that they can see you. And think of this as a warm introduction for each of you as you continue on your advocacy path. So without further ado, I turn this over to Governor McKee.
Well, thank you, and congratulations to all this year's Women Policy Institute grads. And Kelly, thank you for having me here today. And it's a celebration. These graduations are a celebration. I'm fortunate to have two of your grads on my staff, right, with Kim Ahern and Cheyenne Casalt, right, both of them as a lieutenant governor. I really endorsed the idea of Cheyenne working with this group, and now as governor, I get the fruits of this this graduation, this effort through Kim Ahern. She's a really strong part of our team, and somebody that we really look forward to. And I can tell you that the policies that they advocate for, and that's, you mentioned about equity and making sure we do that. We've set up a whole wing in our office on equity and opportunity. And that means equity and opportunity in all our 39 cities and towns. And equity and opportunity in all the communities that make up our communities. So I do value this fact that that you need, when you build an effort like being a governor or Secretary of State like Nellie and Lieutenant Governor. Well, you know, it's no secret that I have selected the first Dominican-born higher elected official in the country with Sabina. I just left her in Cumberland, where we did something to help families get back to work and still hold on to their $300 benefit. And many of the people who are on unemployment right now are women. And we think that we want to find a way to get them back to work, everybody back to work. But why give up the benefit that federally that we sent our money? I don't know about anybody else, but I sent my check into Washington this Monday on my taxes. So why not keep those dollars in our state? So to the people who are, you know, on the call that have graduated from the program, you know, you're going to be the next generation of advocates in our state. And I think that the Institute expects you to be, right? We expect that to happen. So our doors open. You know, the future of our state, as many other people are and that live in Rhode Island. I'll tell you that I am putting together, which will certainly be included, this institute and people who have been involved in it, along with Kelly. We're doing a Rhode Island 2030 plan. And that's the community conversation that you talked about, Kelly, that you were on. So a community conversation on an RI 2030 plan. What is Rhode Island going to look like in 2030? Well, it would be great to have people from the Policy Institute participate in that effort. And I intend to make that happen. And what I said to people, well, you're going to have a super committee to determine what it looks like in 2030. No, everybody in Rhode Island's part of that committee, right? But people who have thoughts about what our state should look like should participate. Last night we did higher ed. A week ago we did housing. The week before that we did economics, the economy, and we'll be doing issues that have to do with equity and opportunity and how they intersect and what we need to do that. But what a great way to end a really good day in Rhode Island. We opened up our economy fully today. We got vaccinations out. Anybody on the call that has a pocket of people that we can vaccinate, let us know. We'll get out we're doing house calls. But we got a great percentage of our population who are vaccinated, and that allows us to open the economy, and it allows us to really start helping get people back to work. And I'll just share that with you, the effort that we've started, the legislation we passed today. It's got three purposes, and I think this falls right in line with all the work that you're advocating for and the policy in terms of, you know, good equity for everybody, women and beyond. But we're trying to do three things there. We're trying to get people back to work safely. We're trying to make sure that families maximize their income by making sure that they don't leave that $300 benefit if in fact they need it. And three, we're trying to get our businesses, and there's many women-owned businesses that are struggling right now, that to make sure they get the workforce that they need to operate as we reopen the state. So I'll just end by saying congratulations to all the graduates. Job well done. On behalf of the state of Rhode Island, you have my very best wishes for a bright future full of boundless possibilities. And I do think that Rhode Island really has a great deal of opportunity, and we want to make sure that opportunity is shared and enjoyed by everybody who lives in the state, and your leadership is going to help make that happen. So thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, Governor McKee. We really appreciate your time. Wow. Okay, so now is an opportunity for us to actually hear from our fellows about their experience in the program. And I believe that Evan is going to take over and share her screen, and Emma and Tifany may be doing the speaking, but I will let you run the program from here.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here to celebrate this last year of the Women's Policy Institute. My name is Emma Gauthier, and I have the great privilege and honor to share with you some of the lessons and takeaways that my cohort learned together this year. I've been asked to tell you a little bit about myself and the Policy Institute as a whole. When I applied for the Policy Institute this time last year, it felt exactly like what I needed at exactly the right time. I was furloughed from a job that I loved as a result of the pandemic, and I was looking for not only direction in my career, but also to be a force for change and to help other people. All 15 of us embarked on this journey in the midst of a global pandemic, racial injustices, and social upheaval. And we all knew that we wanted to affect change in Rhode Island, especially for women and girls. We undertook this work knowing that we would be doing it remotely. And while we only met once together in person, we knew that our commitment to our mission was strong enough to affect systemic change, even through Zoom meetings. For our policy project, we chose to join the work of helping to pass the doula bill, which would ensure Medicaid and private insurance reimbursement for doula services in Rhode Island. We felt that choosing this bill would be the next best step for helping women of color in Rhode Island to receive equal access to reproductive health care. When we first came together as a cohort last August, I think we expected that the policy we worked on would follow this linear fashion from inception to committee to the floor and then to the governor's desk. We initially measured our success in this program by whether or not we helped affect change and pass a piece of legislation. What we quickly learned, however, is that policy and change are not linear and that there's more to policy work than just the outcomes. As a cohort, we learned that in order to work on the doula bill in the right way, we needed to have effective, meaningful conversations about how race plays a role in this policy. It also meant that we needed to listen to the doulas and the BIPOC community at the forefront of the doula bill movement. We learned to work at the speed of trust and have patience and respect as we built relationships with the organizations already moving the doula bill forward. This program taught us how to be leaders, and part of being a leader is knowing when to speak up, but also knowing when to listen. We also had to learn how to recalibrate our definition of success. We learned that success is growth. Success is not so much instituting the policy, but it's about lifting up the voices at the forefront of these movements. It's about elevating the community members that we're trying to serve. Success is looking at the issues our world faces through a wider, more inclusive lens. We succeeded not because we worked on this bill, but because we know that we will use these lessons and apply them to exactly where they're needed most, in the development and the assessment of all policies aimed at improving the lives of girls and women in Rhode Island. I want to thank the Women's Fund of Rhode Island and our amazing cohort, as well as Kelly Nevins and Paula Hodges for this incredible program. And I'd like to pass it off to Tifany, who will tell us a little bit more about the doula bill.
Thank you so much, Emma. And thank you everyone for being here today. We're so glad and honored to have gone through this program and honored to be able to present this information in front of you on today. So my name again is Tifany Sanders, and I have to tell you, just hearing obviously what Emma had to say, and also just coining that in the same way, but also sharing my experience with this program. Initially getting into this program, some of the things that I thought of is really, how can my voice be heard? How can I be a part of my community? How can I speak for people who may not be able to even know that there's such a program that exists? And so given the opportunity to be a part of this helped me to learn, helped me to grow, and literally put my voice into a process in which people that look like me can be heard. So I'm truly thankful to have had the opportunity to be able to, again, be here in front of you today and have worked with this wonderful group to do exactly what we did, and learning and growing and being able to share information and hopefully one day be in office. So what I'll do now is I'll certainly go into what we ended up choosing. So ultimately, we chose to work on the doula bill. And so in sharing with you all, what is the doula bill? It's a bill that would enable reimbursement for doula services by public and private insurances. And just to extend on a little bit more with that, I'll share with you, you might be wondering, well, we're talking about the doula bill, but what is even a doula? So a doula is a trained professional who provides emotional, physical, and informational support to new and expectant parents before, during, and after birth, and in early postpartum period. And so why was this important to us? Honestly, I can tell you that in the very beginning, when we were looking to choose a policy or bill to work on, it was really not easy. In fact, collectively, we all had varied interests and passions, but when considering the doula bill, the common consensus that we had is that we imagined ourselves being a woman needing medical attention, yet being ignored or discarded because of the color of our skin. Acknowledging this for us was acknowledging the disparities of treatment to the BIPOC community. And we wanted to take a stand and support this process because we knew that there was going to be a major change that the doula bill could make. So from here, we're going to go forward and talk about the policy project itself. And so talking through the policy project and sharing that with you, I want you to know that it's so essential to that we acknowledge that the doula bill we have chosen is important not only because of the services that it will help to support, but the people it will help to survive. As Black and other women of color are 3 to 4 times more likely to die due to pregnancy-related complications than white women, their preservation of life is dependent on such a bill. Now you might wonder, what could cause such an effect on this group of women? And one of those indicators is in implicit bias. Places where implicit bias can show up is in healthcare settings. What implicit bias can look like is lack in quality of care, misunderstanding of culture, and or even misdiagnoses. And I want to give you some examples of that. Examples of that would be an expectant woman goes into the doctor's office and expresses that she is having chest pains and is told it's just heartburn. She later goes to the ER and her blood pressure is high, leading to other health issues. Another example is a mother in labor that goes to the hospital, and because she doesn't speak English, her treatment is delayed. Because medical professionals can't understand her. Excuse me. Looking at this bill from a lens of being a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a friend, we learned that doula services provide something priceless. These services put someone in the room, whether it be a doctor's office, a hospital, or in someone's home, someone that looks like these individuals and families that they are serving, and they have compassion for them. The reimbursement costs for doulas will fund not only what they do, but how they do it. It will not only improve, but holistically enhance BIPOC prenatal, birthing, and postpartum experiences and outcomes. In addition, the passing of the doula bill will include the support of private and Medicaid insurances. Lastly, doulas put in an immense amount of time helping others bring life into this world. Fair compensation and the ability to work full-time through the doula bill will provide doulas the quality of life they need to continue on doing this great work. From here, I'll pass it on to our fellow Evan. Thank you.
Thank you, Tifany. Thanks, everybody. I'm Evan. One of the great things about working on this bill is that, as Emma mentioned, there were so many incredible organizations and individuals already working on the bill in the past, and we were so happy and so honored to be able to connect with them and learn. And ultimately, a smaller group of us joined the Friends of the Doula Reimbursement Act, which is a task force consisting of the bill sponsors, other legislators, and representatives from all of these amazing groups that you see here, who've been putting so much effort and work into this bill for a while now. The lead bill sponsors, Senator Quesada and Representative Ranglin Vassell, we want to acknowledge them and just give you a very little bullet point summary about the bill. So we got to track and advocate for and follow along with the House and Senate bills, which would require Medicaid and private insurance to cover doula services. This includes a requirement for doula certification and registration, and the bill was passed in the Senate recently. So there are now just ongoing conversations, and we are hopeful about forward movement on the bill soon. We also had the opportunity to advocate for and track the budget line items. So in both governors' budgets, we were able to see, to follow along with the Medicaid piece in the budget as well.
And so over the course of the last probably 5 or 6 months or so, we did so much work to try to amplify and support this bill as best we could. Between over more than 20 different kinds of testimony that we submitted throughout the time this bill had been in different sessions, to over 850 hours of time spent together to work on this policy project. We conducted all kinds of outreach to our elected officials, to our friends, to our family, to doing phone banking, to research, in really all these different directions. We did our best to help amplify this movement. And so we also, when the doula bill took kind of a pause, we had some time also to support other initiatives as well as the Let RI Vote campaign, the fair pay and wage equity movement here, worthy wages for childcare workers, early childhood education, reproductive rights, and so much more. We also had fellows who participated in helping campaign for different legislators, as well as we had fellows participate in mentoring and childcare advocacy with Rhode Island's congressional delegation. And we also had one of our fellows, Kelsey Edwards, draft and submit House Bill 5460, which ensures that rape kits are tested within a specific time frame and creates a survivor's Bill of Rights. And I'm going to pass it off to Ebra to close us out.
Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Ebra Elsharoub, and I want to talk about that. Actually, our learning went far beyond the political arena. And each of us really had the opportunity for self-reflection and to build connections with amazing people serving in leadership positions within and out Rhode Island. We learned about intersecting systems and reflected on our privileges and disadvantages with Andrea Gomez. Counting today, we held 8 sessions in total with guest speakers, and we learned about many issues, including lobbying, testifying, budgeting, and how to run for office. We connected with WPI alumni and get their wisdom, and we got inspired by them. We also learned from one another. For instance, Emma and Didi gave us a workshop on digital communication and even offered visibility for impact sessions. And now, as we look towards the future, each of us will continue to amplify, advocate, and move the needle in our work and in our communities. Each of us has our own areas of influence, and now we are better equipped to engage personal and community connections. As an immigrant woman who came from Turkey to the United States 4 years ago, in this program, I learned how to navigate United States political system. And I saw that I am not the passive receiver in the system. I can take role in change, and even I can lead the change in this community, and this community that I call mine now. Some of us have aspirations to run for political office in the next 5 to 10 years. Some of us will continue to support bills that improve the lives of women and children. And all of us have learned much about ourselves and feel more empowered to engage in meaningful work. We thank Women's Fund and Women's Policy Institute for this amazing opportunity. And we thank everyone who is here to celebrate this important moment with us.
Hooray! Evan, I am going to ask you to put that slide deck back up. And if you wouldn't mind, while we have the next couple of speakers going, showing each of the slides with each of our fellows. So I would be remiss if I did not honor Andrea Gomez and Andrea Gustafson for their support of this program. And Andrea Gomez was, we asked her to come in and help us with racial equity through the Institute and really talk about intersectionality. She runs a consulting firm that has that as expertise, and she was fantastic in supporting our fellows. Andrea Gustafson was an intern who was assigned to the Women's Policy Institute and was fantastic as well. And I know that so much more could be done because you were here. So thank you, Andrea. And then last but not least, the program would not have been possible without our facilitator, who is Paula Hodges. And Paula is going to take some time and share some words of wisdom with our fellows.
Woohoo! Wow, what a powerful presentation and set of speakers. I'm so grateful to this community. It's been a privilege to have my second graduation in facilitating this amazing program. And I'm bummed that we can't be in person for the second year running. I look forward to 2022. That's going to be our moment to shine together in person. But I want to thank Kelly, Ellie, and Angela, the newest addition to the Women's Fund team. They're a great, amazing trifecta of women leaders whom I've enjoyed working with. And of course, to both Andrea and Andrea, who've have been the glue to hold this program together. The coaching at Facilitate Change is extraordinary. And I hope to keep working with Andrea, who couldn't come today because it's a big week for her. Her family's moving across town. So, you know, I'm just so impressed by these profiles that are dialed up on screen. If you're watching, it is worth taking a look at these powerhouse photos and quotes from their testimony. This is not the last time you're going to see this cohort. They are going to run for office. They're going to be CEOs and executive directors if they're not already. You know, we have community organizers, counselors, psychiatrists, lawyers, marketing experts, entrepreneurs, social workers, fundraisers. We have organizers, community advocates. We've got it all in this cohort. And I couldn't be more proud about where we've landed, and we've really only just begun. This class has spent over 90 hours of active session time together with me on Zoom, no less. We did get to start our program in August with an intensive 2-day session. And one of those days we got to be together in a physically distant setting. We've wrestled with incredibly complex and personal and emotional issues. And you can't do this work as a woman without acknowledging all of the intersectional reasons for why women don't have parity in public and elected office. We're going to change that. We're getting dangerously close here in Rhode Island. This program is really special to me because so many of us who work in public facing roles in advocacy, running advocacy and issue campaigns or helping elect women got to where we are because of other women lifting us up. We all have to get our start at some point. And it doesn't matter if you got your start in politics when you were 18 or when you were 80. What matters is that you get involved. And, you know, I look at this group, there was a joke halfway through the program when there were some turbulent times and Mama Bear came out, and I joked that I was their Mama Bear, and I take that very seriously in that I'm very protective of this group, but I think they can stand on their own at this point in the sometimes rough and tumble political waters that are out there. Whew, I love this group so much. I love seeing your faces shining out here on the deck. I want to kind of end my remarks with some spoken prose from an activist and writer whom has had timeless words for any organization that I've worked with, but particularly fitting for this cohort at Women's Policy Institute. So bear with me. It wouldn't be a graduation without a little bit of literature or prose to send you off into the world as if you weren't already. So this is a passage that I've adapted to shorten. So I want to acknowledge that. But the passage is called "We Were Made for These Times" by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. So here goes. My friends, do not lose heart. We were made for these times. I have heard from so many recently who are deeply and properly bewildered. They're concerned about the state of affairs in our world now. Ours is a time of almost daily astonishment and often righteous rage over the latest degradations of matters most to civilized and visionary people. I recognize a seaworthy vessel when I see one. Regarding awakened souls, there have never been more able vessels in the waters than there are right now in the world. And they are fully provisioned and able to signal one another as never before in the history of humankind. In any dark time, there's a tendency to veer toward fainting over how much is wrong or unmended in the world. Do not focus on that. There is a tendency too to fall into being weakened by dwelling on what is outside your reach, by what cannot yet be. Do not focus there. That is spinning the wind without raising the sails. Ours is not the task of fixing the entire world all at once, but of stretching out to mend the part of the world that is within our reach. Any small, calm thing that one soul can do to help another soul, to assist some portion of this poor, suffering world will help immensely. It is not given to us to know which acts or by whom will cause the critical mass to tip forward and enduring good. What is needed for dramatic change is an accumulation of acts, adding more, continuing. We know what it does not take everyone on earth to bring justice and peace, but only a small determined group who will not give up during the first, second, or 100th gale. One of the most calming and powerful acts you can do is to intervene in a stormy world, is to stand up and show your soul. Soul on deck shines like gold in dark times. The light of the soul throws sparks, can send up flares, builds signal fires, causes proper matters to catch fire. To display the lantern of the soul in shadowy times like these is to be fierce and to show mercy toward others. Both are acts of immense bravery and great necessity. There will always be times when you feel discouraged. I too have felt despair many times in my life, but I do not keep a chair for it. I will not entertain it. It is not allowed to eat from my plate. The reason is this: in my uttermost bones, I know something, as do you. It is that there can be no despair when you remember why you came to earth, who you serve, and who sent you here. The good words we say and the good deeds we do are not ours. They are the words and deeds of the one who brought us here. In that spirit, I hope you will write this on your wall. When a great ship is in harbor and moored, it is safe. There can be no doubt, but it is not what great ships are built for. So with that, my friends, go out into the turbulent waters of policy change and lift each other up. A rising tide of this group will lift all of our boats. Thank you for your commitment to one another and to the work. I love you all.
Oh, Paula, that was amazing. Thank you. Wow. All right. Well, I'm pleased to share that we have many of our board members in the room, and tonight we'd like to hear from our board chair, Bev Wiley, who we are so honored to have helming our ship. Bev.
Well, thank you, Kelly, and congratulations to everyone. This has been such an exciting program, and it's been exciting to watch all the accomplishments that you've had. And on behalf of the Board of Directors, I want to extend our congratulations and thank you for participating in WPI. You know, it's obvious that you've learned a lot through this experience, and you're ready to take on any challenge that will affect change, help the status of women, and ultimately help to make Rhode Island stronger. So it's really a privilege and an honor to be here, and I had hoped to be able to get involved with some of your sessions, and I just wasn't able to do that. But I heard good reports from the staff on what you've been doing, and just hearing your reports of what you've done in this short period of time, especially under the circumstances of the pandemic. You've done a great job. I want to take this time to announce all of the graduates and extend congratulations to all of you. And we'll begin with Emma Gauthier, Bunmi Olatunji, Denisha Cook, Ebra Elsharoub, Evan Sargent, Jenna Giguere, Joanne Schofield, Kassie Hawkins, Kelsey Edwards, Kisa Takesue, Lori Viner, Susan Killenberg, Tamara Burman, Tifany Sanders, and Trinice Holden. You are all stars. You're all superstars. You should be so proud of yourselves for what you've accomplished. Now, I will echo the words that others have said. You need to go out and take on Rhode Island. And I expect to hear great things from all of you. I wish you all the best. And remember the Women's Fund. Remember where you got your start, and continue to pay it forward and encourage others to get involved with the Women's Policy Institute or with any of our committees that we have that can help to make Rhode Island stronger and improve gender equity in this state. Thanks so much, and thanks again, and congratulations.
Thank you, Bev. And we should note here that while you may be, oh, I love people are blowing their horns and they're waving their little stars that we had put in some graduation swag bags for them. So yeah, that's right, you did it. Even though you are graduating today, it is our hope that you will stay involved with the Women's Fund in some capacity. We certainly have plenty of committees to work with. And last year, the class before you started an alumni organizing group, and with the idea of specifically bringing Women's Policy Institute alumni together to think about how to make things better for our community. And so tonight we have a spokesperson from that group. It's Cordelia Brady, again, an alumni of the program, and she has a message to share tonight.
Good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations to the graduates. My name is Cordelia Brady, and I graduated with the Women's Policy Institute's 2019-2020 class. I'm speaking today on behalf of the Women's Policy Institute's, or WPI, Alumni Organizing Committee. We are so excited to welcome today's graduates to the alumni community that we are actively building. 1 year ago, members of our class came together to build this community because we believe that by working together and staying connected after graduation, we have an immense opportunity to be impactful and effective leaders in Rhode Island. We are now 80 alums strong and so excited for what we can build together. Our most important goals are to provide a way for alums to relationship build with each other, to provide support to active cohorts through mentorship, and to work with the Women's Fund to help make the Women's Policy Institute program as equitable as possible. We are very proud of the work we've already done, of what we're doing, and we hope all of you will join us in our efforts. We'll be reaching out to you very soon to invite you to our first alumni virtual event. So congratulations, thank you, and we're really excited to continue this journey together.
Thank you, Cordelia. And I should note there are several members of your class in the Zoom room with us today as well. So, so the current fellows who are now joining the Alumni Network know that you've got several of your friends joining you. As we start to wrap up here, if there are in the room any reps, senators, grassroots advocates who are looking for assistance, and perhaps would love some of our graduates to consider working with them, you might put something in the chat. Maybe just a quick message about the topic that you are working on, and reach you should our graduates be interested in supporting your work. And also know that you can reach out to the Women's Fund, and we would be happy to push out messages to our alumni. Secondly, I would like to note that, again, we have opportunities to volunteer with the Women's Fund, whether you have been associated with the Women's Policy Institute or not. Anyone in this Zoom room is welcome to participate. And you can find more information about how to volunteer with us on our website. I'm going to ask Ellie, who is she is our Operations and Fund Development Director, or Director of Operations and Fund Development. She is going to post some links in the chat, both to our volunteer page, but also to our Women's Policy Institute page, because as I noted, we are recruiting for the next class. and applications are due on June 11th. And on the Women's Policy Institute page, you can find either an application to download or to just apply directly from the website. If you know folks who might be interested, please help us pass the word along. We, again, would like to recruit a diverse and dynamic class for the 21-22 cohort year, which will start at the end of August. If there's anybody who wants at this point to take themselves off of mute and share any messages, please do. I'm just going to give a minute or two for that. I have one more note that I want to share before we leave, and then we will close out with Brooke Annibale again. So if anybody would like to take themselves off of mute and share something, please do.
Can I share something?
Please, Donna, go ahead.
I'm Kelsey's mom, and both she and both my husband and I'm sure he feels the same, are incredibly proud of our daughter, Kelsey. From a very early age, she has always been an advocate for things that she's passionate about. And I'm just, I can't even tell you how proud we are of her. We love you, Kelsey.
Thanks, Mom. Love you too.
I also would just like to extend my personal congratulations to all of you. And it's been such a pleasure watching you. And I, again, like everyone else, can't wait to see where you go and what mountains you move to make Rhode Island more gender equitable state. So congratulations all.
Angela McCalla, Director of Policy and Advocacy for the Women's Fund of Rhode Island. I just wanted to say I had the pleasure of being able to spend the day with all of you wonderful, wonderful individuals. And you all are warriors and such an inspiration. And I'm so happy to be arm in arm with you all on your great accomplishment. And I'm excited for our future together. And thank you. Thank you for letting me be a part of this today.
All right. Well, so once again, I would just like to honor the founders the funders of the Women's Policy Institute, which includes the Rhode Island Foundation, Amica, Alliant Credit Union, Island Foundation, the Otto York Foundation, and again, many individual donors. Woohoo, yes. We are actually planning a live event that will take place at the end of August. It'll be our Toast to Tenacity, and it also will be an opportunity to in person honor our founder, the late Simone Joyaux. And then later in September, we will have a virtual event, our Women Leading Change celebration, where we will be honoring both our Director of the Department of Health with the Leadership Award, as well as Rep. Anastasia Williams with an Advocacy Award. So we hope that you will join us for one or both of those events. And you'll start receiving information about how to do that moving forward. And with that, I would like to invite Brooke to play another song to lead us out of the room. And congratulations again to everyone.
All right, thank you so much for having me. I just wanted to say it was incredibly inspiring to hear all that you all are achieving, and it was exciting to be here with you today. So I'm gonna play another song. Feeling outnumbered, you don't know how to fight. You know it's not easy, but you sure know that it's right. Feeling helpless, looking for a needle in the hay.
walls. Who's ready to choose? Say who can't choose. Who gets to stand and who takes a fall? Throwing darts in the dark, trying to hit the bullseye, but nobody knows what it looks like. We're throwing darts in the dark, trying to hit the bullseye. Till we hit it in the bullseye. You're feeling so small, you don't know how to be heard. Everyone's shouting, no one's saying a word. You're feeling helpless, looking for a needle in the hay. Everyone's got the answers, but no one's got the way. Who's ready to choose? Say who can't choose. Who belongs inside of these walls? Who's ready to choose? Say who can't choose. Who gets to stand and who takes a fall? We're throwing darts in the dark, trying to hit the bullseye, but nobody knows what it looks like. We're throwing darts in the dark, trying to hit the bullseye. Till we hit it in the bullseye. We're throwing darts in the dark, trying to hit the bullseye, but nobody knows what it looks like. We're throwing darts in the dark, trying to hit the bullseye. Till we hit it in the bullseye.
Again, that was amazing, Brooke. Thank you so much. Brooke Annibale, I know that Ellie posted a link to her website on the chat if you want to connect with her later. And thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Brooke, so much.
Thank you.